Ladies and gentlemen, would you please take your seats and we'll start our meeting? Good afternoon. My name is Allison Rampersad. I live on Countryside Lane. I'd like to thank everybody for taking their time to come out, especially on a Sunday. We're glad you're here. By the way, if there's anybody who has not signed in yet, please just raise your hand and somebody will bring a sign-in sheet over and you can go ahead and do that. This afternoon we're going to be sharing some facts and evidence that support our reasons for calling this meeting. We ask that you please keep an open mind until you've heard everything we have to present. That's both sides. Please keep an open mind. It may interest you to know that the present board did everything they could to prevent you, the homeowners, from hearing what we've learned about the problematic decision they've made on behalf of the entire community. Richard Sussman was told he couldn't print anything in the newsletter that might go against anything the board has decided. Muriel Reef was told that her access to Channel 63 would be taken away if she put up the announcement that I kindly asked her to put up for today's meeting. Now, we've got a lot of ground to cover this afternoon, so in order to make sure that everybody has an opportunity for input, and that's what we want today, we want everybody's input. So, in order to make sure that you all have input, we're asking for your attention and your respect while others are speaking. Please, no side conversations and boos and hisses. There's no need to be angry or to shout anybody down. We're all adults, we don't need to act that way. Everyone will be given ample time to speak. At the beginning of the meeting, we're going to be using the whiteboard over here in just a few moments. And everybody is welcome to speak, provided that your remarks are based on facts. We will ask that you please make no personal attacks, no insinuations about anybody's honesty or character. Let's not even go there. On that note, we're going to begin with your input. We'd like to know what your primary concerns or complaints are about Cocowood Lakes. So here's how we'll do it. Here's how we'll do it. You'll be able to speak more than once if you have multiple issues. But what we ask is that you address one issue at a time. Stand up, come up to the mic, state your case. We'll add your issue to the board. And once everybody who has had the opportunity, who wants to speak, has done so, then we'll come back around again for those people who have multiple issues. And we would ask that you only address a second issue if it's not already been addressed by someone else, because that way we don't duplicate and take up your valuable time. So during this whiteboard session, please, this is not an opportunity to come up and make a speech or twist somebody's arm or filibustering or anything like that. It's just an opportunity for you to come up and give us your complaint or concern about Cocowood Lakes, and please be as brief as you can.
Hello, everybody. I just want, for the sake of honesty and clarity, I just want to make a correction of something that Allison said. She misinterpreted what I was told about putting information in the newsletter. The board did not tell me I can't print anything, and in fact I'm expecting something from the board for the newsletter. What I couldn't print in was, I asked each individual board member to tell me their own personal reasons why they felt the management company was right, and I didn't get any responses at all. The only response I got was from Mark, and he wrote a very nice piece, and he explained himself there very nicely. So I asked him, Mark, I'd like to print this. And he said, No, absolutely not. You cannot print it. That's the story. That's why, that's what really happened. So, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I stand corrected. Thank you very much for that, Richard. Can't hear you, Muriel. You'll have to come up here, please.
I'm Muriel Reed, I do the channel. I put a funny joke on once in a while, but this is not a joke. I was not asked to stop doing the channel. Never, not at all. And I think it should exist because it's a fair thing. I try to do what's right. I don't put my own opinions in. And the comment was wrong.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, according to the agenda that you have on the table, we are going to go to the homeowner input section. Terry, go right ahead. This is Terry Whitlock, by the way.
I want to introduce myself first before we begin. I live on Hideaway Lake Lane. I live on Hideaway Lake Lane since the beginning of the year. And a little bit about my background. I spent the first 18 years of my life in the Navy. My father was a fighter pilot. And after I graduated, Vietnam had broke out. I joined the Air Force. And I served my country for 4 years in a B-52 squadron as a nuclear weapons specialist. I went to college at Northwestern. I majored in computer science and minored in business law. I worked my way up a corporate ladder to the height of the top executive suite of major corporations that you recognize, like Lennox, China, Franklin Mint, Viewmaster, the 3D company. I was the president of Richard Leboge, which imported porcelain boxes out of France. I've traveled throughout the world. I ran many organizations, and I believe I have a pretty good grasp of management and contract negotiations. You will hear in my talks today some of the observations that I have made in reading the contract that has been signed between Cocowood Lakes and Association Services of Florida. And also, please be aware, you will hear us interchange a name quite frequently through this presentation about Association Services of Florida. They are an affiliate of Associa. Associa is the largest homeowner management association, management company, some news reports say in the world. They operate out of Dallas, Texas. They have under their control over 4 million homes. They have 170 offices. They operate in Canada, throughout the United States, and Mexico. So you'll hear us sometimes refer to them as what the contract says, Association Services of Florida, which really is a DBA, doing business as. It's Consultants, Inc., doing business as Associa, but they are, Association Services of Florida. But to keep it simple, when we refer to Associa, we're talking about Association Services of Florida, the entity that was signed in the contract. What we're going to do now, I think it's critical through all the presentations that you're going to hear, is what your concerns are, what you want to see done in Cocoa Woods in terms of beautifying it, in terms of making it the homogeneous neighborhood that it's been all these years, to keep it friendly and family friendly. And we can only discern that from you to us. The key thread through this whole afternoon in our presentation is to present to you a stark contrast to how some of the other homeowners and residents of Cocowood Lakes operate organizationally, how we manage, how we invite different opinions, opposing opinions. That's what a democracy is all about, not just listening to people who agree with you, but more importantly, making sure everybody has a voice, especially the silent majority that doesn't speak up. we reach out for that voice. And what I want you to observe is what you've already seen going on in past boards versus what you're going to see today. You're going to see a lot of facts, a lot of truth, and I will begin this with something that surprised me intellectually and managerially, was a flyer that was passed out and put on all the tables by the board. And the flyer says, Cocowood Lakes Homeowners Association, let the truth be spoken about the board hiring Associa to manage our community. This was not printed as the person walked up and down the rows putting it on the tables instantaneously. This was printed at least an hour ago, before we heard one word come out of our mouths. I would say to you, that's not just a rushed judgment, that's a prejudgment. That is a posture and an attitude. We don't want opposition. We don't want to hear what one person, and it's only takes one person. If one of you is concerned, we want to hear it. But what if it's more than one person? What if it's 100 people out of 393? Those are significant voices. I've attended 3 of the last 4 board meetings. I heard a lot of dissension, but I heard those people were only given 3 minutes to say their mind. What we're trying to do is show you a polar opposite. Truly an open and transparent effort to do what the residents want done. So we're going to begin with your input. And I wish I had a microphone to walk around. We're going to walk around and we will recognize you individually. To stand up, please, and give us one complaint, concern, whatever's on your mind about the community you live in. Let me start on this side of the room. Ladies, certainly somebody here's got one. Okay.
The complaint is the trees, landscaping, everything needs to be tracked. The trees are here.
I'll repeat it because we don't have I don't have a microphone. Reach all the way to that. Okay. All right, go ahead.
The landscaping, the trees are practically touching the grounds in the back. The gazebo, everything needs to be power washed. It looks terrible from the back.
Anybody else? Anyone else here?
Right here.
The fence along Atlantic Avenue and Cocowood Lakes has to be replaced. I hear no mention of it. Thank you.
Anybody else here? Could I ask you to come forward, please, because we have we're on cord here, so can you come forward, please? Oh, I have something to say too.
Okay, we have the other mic ready.
Where is it? Okay. I would like to say, what would make me feel better is that if somebody took all the pictures in this room down.
I don't know of, my name's Carolyn Dorman. My name's Carolyn Dorman, and I live on Winding Brook Way, and I've lived there over 20 years. The reason we moved to Winding Brook Way, my husband was interested in planting fruit trees, and this was the only group that allowed him to plant any. This was the only property we came upon after much searching that allowed you to plant whatever you wanted on your property, because the land is yours. It doesn't belong to anybody but the person who owns it and owns the house. Don't let them take that right away from us. It's illegal.
Don't engage.
Crooks know what to do.
Richard, you missed this thing. Just the table.
witnesses land to plant. Some of those things are inalienable rights by contract and through lawyers and stuff like that. So I need a little more information.
Aaron, can I respond to you, please? I would say to you that, I would say in response, is this is a building process, grassroots from the ground up. We first need to know the concerns and complaints. Then you will hear following that the answers to all of your questions. How good management solves those problems. Maybe some of the deficiencies that have happened up to this point, maybe they're not. Maybe they've done very well. And we're going to point those out as well. But at this particular stage, what we're looking for from the community is what are we dealing with? Not authorities, not lawyers, not the board versus us. We do not want to polarize people here and create a schism between everybody. So that's why we're trying to get first input. We don't want to stand up here and pontificate what our positions are and what our complaints are. We want you to say what the complaints are.
Ladies first.
My name's okay. Two questions. Hello? Okay.
Just two questions. One, my concern is all the amenities in our documents. They all need to be renovated or redone or fixed or whatever. My other question is, great speech, you want everybody to get along, but at the very back of the room, you're doing a recall at the same time. If you want me to believe that all you want to do is work these things out, you don't recall the board.
A point of clarification for everybody. I don't see anything going on in the back of the room in terms of a recall. Excuse me, let me speak. I listen to his point. A recall is very well defined and outlined, specified in not only docs but the state statute of how it happens. All that sign-up sheet is asking what your preference is at the top. It's not a recall vote. Nothing's going to happen because of it. We're asking you to express, to indicate your preference. And look at the top of the sheet. It says that we're asking for your preference. There is a recall form, a ballot, but that is moot if we do not achieve the thresholds required by the state law.
Why are you even doing it then?
Because they're...
Why didn't we have this meeting, and then you can have a follow-up meeting later if you feel...
Well, you know what, there's critical things happening right now that are time-based. One, you cannot operate a recall within 60 days of an election. So the deadline on a recall is December 15th.
But the standard
This is
says
November.
there's no recall when there is a recall.
Sir, you have expressed your opinion.
Yeah.
Would you kindly let him
I'm trying to
rebut?
clarify that we're here to present a position with alternatives. There's two columns on that sheet. Rescind, cancel the contract, and or recall. They're options. We expect to hear from this group, and that's why we're asking for input. Maybe there's other alternatives. Maybe there's other options. We're open to them. Just like I willingly handed you the microphone. I know what your position is. But I invite you to express it. Give us a viable alternative. That's what we're here for. We're trying to find solutions.
Hi, when I walked into this auditorium, Helen Worm, when I walked in, I asked somebody that does one of these papers for. So no one asked me to sign them, it's for attendance. So I had to look for my sheet and I signed it for attendance. When I walked in here, I saw somebody signing something and I said, is this for attendance? And they said, no. I said, well, what is it for? They said, for recall. So I said, but I'm not for recall. Can I have one of the papers? And then they said, you don't have to sign anything.
Then there's a misunderstanding.
It is, I will tell you that it is a misunderstanding with the people with the forms. We are trying the best that we can to put the issues in front of the committee, to the community, and let the community decide at the end of this. The sign-up sheets were preferential statements. What are you in favor of, based on what we're coming into the meeting with? But this group may have a completely different track that they want to take. We're open to that. We are here to have a dialogue. We're not a lynching mob. We're not here trying to hang the board. We're not issuing statements, position statements, in writing before we even hear the other side. They did that. They put it on Channel 63 and made editorial comments about the authors of this effort. To me, that's not being open and transparent. That's what we're trying to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will have plenty of time for additional comments, but we'd like to stick to our agenda, please.
May I talk? Yes? Okay, on the flyer that we got in our mailboxes, you mentioned that there are many things about Associa that we were not told. I would like to know what they are. And second, that a lot of HOAs did not like Associa. I would like to know why.
That is part of the agenda, Mayor. That is upcoming information.
I agree, Allison. Let's get back to concerns and complaints so we can finish that agenda item and move on to these other issues.
My name is Lou Shimkin. I used to be on the board many years ago. One of the things I hear from a lot of the old-time residents here is that a lot of the amenities that we are accustomed to here in Copperwood Lakes have gone downhill. The way some of the grounds look, the mess that we find, that's true. However, I feel I'm not ready to throw in the towel, okay? I believe that the boards of directors, all the way back to the beginning, over 30 years ago, have successfully dealt with this problem. My feeling is, let's try to get a group of people to be on the next board who are going to take care of it. Now, maybe they won't be able to. If they are not able to, then maybe the answer is a management group. But I'm afraid it's too premature to think about getting a management company at this time. Because of that, my objection is not related to finances. If the management company would charge us $100 a year, I would be opposed to it, because I believe that we should be able to handle all of these things. Given the fact that we haven't done a good job in the past, let's try. I can't believe that out of 400 houses here and the people who live in them, I figure it's about 600 residents, we can't find 7 who can do the job. We've done it before, and I think we can do it again.
Thank you, Lou.
We got somebody from this table.
There's somebody
this
right here.
table.
Terry, there's a lady here and a gentleman over
We're
here.
going to try to go down the tables. Who wants to speak at this table? Would you like to speak? Sure. Move it up, George. Anybody else got a concern? No concerns here. I'll send you my text messages. You have a concern?
My name is Ron Monthauser. I've been a resident for about 2.5 years. My name is Ron Monthauser. I've been a resident for about 2.5 years.
Finance Committee. It was tabled for an unknown reason. I think it was not satisfactory to me, because we weren't discussing individual salaries. We were just discussing the total amount on the budget, and that's to me is a lame excuse. So I want to just run briefly over the comment or the projects that are included in this budget. And there are, for instance, a document is to be rewritten